Pavan Varma, question to the Minister.
I want to say, if we should let temper cool a little. If you feel that engagement is good, nobody can deny your statement. The question is, what does that engagement yield? You had attack on Mumbai. You took a stand and you needed to engage, but with lots of other leverages behind you. You allowed incursions to take place. They are happening at a much greater pace in Jammu Kashmir even now. Our soldiers are being beheaded. You do not know who you are talking to in Pakistan, apart from anything else. So you can't just say engagement at any cost is good.
Pavan Varma, may I ask you?
I asked you this question.
Very respectfully,
Okay,
in the last 64 years, has anybody in the Indian state or the Indian establishment been sure that the person that they're engaging with in Pakistan will be able to deliver? The question is that Pakistan has differentiated centers of power, and therefore, because the logic of geography, logic of geography does not change. You need to engage with all the interlocutors in Pakistan and keep the pressure on.
So, just a question, counter question.
No. I'll ask you a counter question. I'll ask you a counter question.
Mr. Tewari.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
My question is, the engagement is fine, but we had an attack which was a very humiliating one. And every time we have subsequently engaged, it has provided Pakistan an alibi to, in some manner, absolve itself of that culpability.
And then
we are, in a sense, legitimizing or edifying that particular culpability. My worry is, either way, nobody doubts engagement. Samadama Dandabhed, I said to you from the beginning, please, we have got an old doctrine, engage, but don't become defenseless in other areas, or don't believe, and I say this with humility to you, don't believe engagement per se will yield results.
I'll tell you what will yield results. What will yield results is that if we have a multi-partisan consensus in this country on how do we need to engage with Pakistan, how do we need to engage with China, and how do we need to engage with the rest of the world. The problem is that when a government tries to engage, and just for the sake of scoring political brownie points, you have sniping taking place, and from a government which had exactly pursued the same policy, that is what undermines us. Therefore, one second, Mr. Puri, the other way of doing it is that if you want a national consensus, is that you put up a wall from Kashmir all the way down to Kathiawar and say that we just forget about Pakistan. Therefore, the difficulty is that there's no constructive solution.
Can you allow me to agree with you? Mr. Tewari, I welcome this formulation that we require a national consensus on national security and sensitive foreign policy issues. But I wish this kind of an offer was coming at the start of your 10 years rather than at the fag end of your 10 years. Number two, can I just complete this? Even now, the party which is in power has a higher obligation in order to consult the other stakeholders in the political system and in the country as such. Please tell me on how many foreign and security policy issues, ranging from China, Pakistan, the United States, have you actually made the effort to reach out to the opposition parties, including my friend Pavan Varma's party, and ask them for their inputs? I know he's close to you, but still, you should show them the courtesy of consulting them, to get inputs from them on how to formulate policy. Bangladesh is a case in point. No. Sri Lanka is a case in point. Pakistan is a case in point. All I'm asking is, even now, in the remaining 3-4 months, I know once the code of conduct comes in, maybe foreign policy formulation will...
if the BJP and Congress form a national consensus,
let me come back on that. Mr. Puri, since you were traveling around the world and serving the country in important capitals, may I just jog your memory? You talked about the United States of America. Who started the next steps in strategic partnership? It was the NDA government.
Correct.
It is the UPA government which came and continued with that policy. Whether it was the Defense Framework Agreement, whether it was the Indo-US Civil Nuclear Engagement, which broke the apartheid, the nuclear apartheid which had been imposed in India since 1974.
But you failed to implement it. But you failed to implement the act.
Please do not interrupt.
You signed an agreement.
You know that you are
you didn't implement it. No, I'm on your side. I agree with you.
No, but your point was, were we consulted? Of course you were consulted. But you choose to oppose for the sake of opposition.
Wait a minute. Come on, Lucas. Look them in the eye and tell them the truth.
Nuclear agreement, you were consulted.
On the civilian nuclear agreement, it was passed. And it was a
US
great
civil
achievement.
nuclear agreement,
But when
all
it
the
came-
parties,
but
all
when
the
it-
opposition
but
parties
when it
were
came to
brought on
implementing
board.
that, you
Or
have
on
not
your
allowed
policy
a
Kuwait,
single
China,
dollar's,
or on Pakistan. Every time there's been
implementation
a
to take place.
consultation with the opposition leaders.
This
So
whole
to say
question,
that there is no
we have 5
consultation
minutes on the
Nuclear
debate. I
liability
think,
bill,
one
nuclear
second, we have
liability
5
bill.
minutes on the debate. I want to ask the National Congress representative. I think you're being careful today because you don't know which side you'll be on after the general election.
No, you don't know. We know it for certain. You don't know. And he is always in a habit of drawing conclusions. So you have sat in the judgment. You have passed the
Mr. Beig,
judgment.
my question to you is,
Yes, please.
Farooq Abdullah was quoted as having said on the 14th of August 2013, and I quote, "We have a problem with Pakistan, and you cannot settle that problem with war. So how do you settle it? You talk. You have to find conditions to talk. Why do you want to close the doors for talks?" I asked the media, why does it want to close the doors of talking? My question, Mr. Beig, to you is this. Please explain to me, what explains Farooq Abdullah's belief that talks are the only way forward? Haven't we seen enough Pakistani attacks on Indian soil, despite all these assurances of Musharraf and the man of peace, Mr. Gilani, etc., that Pakistan allows its soil to be used for terror attacks on India? Why does your leader have such a deep, abiding faith in Pakistan, despite everything that they do?
We have to do that, Mr. Arnab, at any cost.
No, but without
As
any
I said-
action.
Please, as I said earlier on, we have had 3 wars. In one of the wars, Bangladesh got created. But in spite of that, and many mini wars, not only major wars, many mini wars, and even when Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was at the helm,
I'm glad you said
we
that.
saw eyeball-to-eyeball contact, and we kept how many millions of soldiers on war footing.
So then say it today,
on
Mr.
war
Beig.
footing. But what I mean is, finally, we have to come to the table. Finally, we have to talk. Finally, we have to fix issues. And we, the people of Jammu and Kashmir...
Then why, just because you are in power and you hold a government with the Congress party, you put national interest first, or your politics first, or being in power first? Why did you not stop the Prime Minister and tell him? Why did Farooq Abdullah not tell the Prime Minister, sir, you are talking rubbish when you say it cannot be business as usual with Pakistan after the beheadings carried out by the Pakistani army? Why didn't you say that then, sir? Please tell me. Why did you not stop Mr. A.K. Antony? Why did you not stop Mr. A.K. Antony when he said...
What?
Why didn't you tell them that what you're saying doesn't make sense? We disagree with you. On this point itself, we will not have a government with you. Why did you continue to remain in power in an alliance in Srinagar, sir? My question to you, sir, you understand what I'm saying?
We have to be firm, but we have to be flexible.
Sir, what is it?
Same. We have to be firm, we have to be flexible, and at the end of the day, we have to talk and we have to fix issues only through a dialogue.
One counter, and after that, I want to tell the audience, we are going to take this to the vote finally, and I will give 30 seconds to each side to wrap up and tell all our audience today that if they were to come to power or have a stake in the next government in New Delhi, what is the one thing in terms of foreign policy they would do for the next government? Yes, you have there's the last interjection, please.
Firm and flexible is a very dangerous phenomenon if you don't do it properly. I ask you this question. Every time we have a summit with Pakistan, the Hurriyat leadership is allowed to meet with Pakistani leaders when they refuse to meet the democratically elected Chief Minister of J&K or the Prime Minister of India. Why do we allow?
Why do we allow?
Come on. Do we have an elected government? We have to believe in governments.
Nobody's
we have an elected government.
But they don't meet our own.
We have an elected government in this state, and we have an elected government in Delhi.
Who is the Hurriyat?
We have to have faith.
Who has elected the Hurriyat?
And when governments allow people to
Who has
talk, there
elected
is
the
no
Hurriyat?
problem.
Who has elected the
No,
Hurriyat?
no, I am not telling
What
you
is their
that.
legitimacy?
No,
Who are they?
No, I am not telling you
How many
that.
votes have they got?
No.
Then why are you allowing them to
Go
talk
on
to the
asking
government of
questions.
Pakistan?
You go on asking questions. You don't allow me to respond. Please, in J&K, let's not wish it away. We have a problem at hand. There are people, there are alienated sections of the society, and there is no harm as a democratic country. We believe in talks. We must talk to them and get them in the mainstream.
Okay, now at this stage, have you enjoyed the debate so far? And can we have a round of applause for our fantastic panelists, please? It's been brilliant so far. And I must say this, that it is so illuminating for me as an anchor as well, who is constantly accused of being partisan by every politician I met. One day, I have a deep and abiding belief that I will be paid a compliment by all these four gentlemen.
Definitely.
But I would want to say, I would want to say this. Let's have this issue put to the vote. Or should we okay, let's have the issue put to the vote.
30 seconds each.
Okay, 30 seconds each. I will give 30 seconds each for all the four panelists. Starting from the left, Manish Tewari, if you were in power, my question to you is, tell me one thing you'll give to the people of this country and for our first-time voters in this election. Mr. Tewari.
Well, the fact is, Mr. Goswami, that we are in power. And with God's grace and people's support, I do hope that in May 2014, we would get a chance to continue serving the people of India. But be that as it may, since we are talking of a foreign policy debate, and I began by saying that the two important objectives is strategic autonomy and consolidation or space for consolidation. What the UPA has done over the past 10 years is like a thoughtful grandmaster. It has nuanced India's foreign policy and maximized and optimized our advantage. Foreign policy is not a T20 match where you score, debating points or brownie points. And the one thing that the UPA would do if it comes back, we will deepen our economic engagement with all our interlocutors to see that foreign direct investment in this country increases, skill development takes place, the industrial corridors that we have put in place bear fruit, come to fruition, and ultimately our foreign policy is able to deliver for our young people more skill, more jobs, and better education. That is what the objective of UPA 3 is going to be.
Manish Tewari, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Manish. Thank you, and thank you for participating in the debate. Mr. Beig, your 30 seconds now.
My 30 seconds would be, so far as we are here talking about foreign policies. Foreign policy, we should never overreact or underreact. We have to give measured response. I think we must learn from our experiences. We must not go hysterical about things. We have to be very careful. We are the largest democracy in the world, and our response to anything, so far as our relationship with the rest of the world, should be very measured and very calculated.
Mr. Beig, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Pavan Varma.
If we have any say in the making of foreign policy, we would do what I believe both the BJP and the Congress have so far failed successfully to do, which is to substitute this ad hoc and reactive foreign policy with a long-term foreign policy strategic doctrine, which with anticipation, clarity and planning serves long-term goals rather than merely reacting to events as they happen. We need to end this ad hocism because India is in the most troubled and dangerous neighborhood of the world.
Right.
And we need, therefore, this kind of framework, which we have not yet devised, as a major power in the world.
Mr. Pavan Varma, thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. Hardeep Puri, please, of the BJP.
Thank you, Arnab. In the last 10 years, foreign policy has been characterized by reticence, hesitation, and sometimes by strategic confusion. If the BJP comes to power either by itself or along with its allies, it will provide more focused attention to national security and foreign policy, but most important, it will provide the enabling environment for the economy to begin to grow again at 9%, which is what we gave the economy in 2004 to the UPA, so that the 9% growth will generate jobs for our young people, who in turn will become they will use their entrepreneurial skills and talents for an India which will find its rightful place in the committee of nations.
Thank you. Exchange the statements.
Except for the fact that it was 5.9% in 2004 and not 9%.
Okay.
So therefore, I think that's a factual correction.
The UPA, which has argued so well today, wants to have the last word. Can I put this to audience to vote on the subject? If after 10 years of the UPA, do you feel foreign policy needs an overhaul? How many of you feel it needs an overhaul? Okay. How many of you feel it? How many of you are on Mr. Manish Tewari's side today? Well, there are a few. Mr. Manish Tewari, you have won over quite a few here today. To your credit, I thank you very much for taking part in these debates. Very well argued. It has been great to listen to all of you. Foreign policy, of course, is a key area. and in our continuing national election debates. What do you think of the national election debate? What is the subject that you would like to see debated? Here are some options on your screen right now. Tell us which of these you think I should be picking up next. I'll see you soon on the next national election debate. Good night and good night.